Hi guys, welcome to Terry with the Word. And today we need to talk about the toxic concoction that is needly. Can't say the V word, can't get a strike. Don't want our channel shut down like everybody else's. We already said it once and got a warning. But I've had to have this conversation with a lot of people lately, so I just want to throw it out there. Let's just talk about the facts, common sense things, and even conspiracy, because we can just speculate on what could be going on. We don't know. So the first thing is that there's an enzyme that we were told was being used in the making of this concoction called luciferase. Hopefully it's okay to say that word. And this is an enzyme that actually emits light, which is interesting because who disguises themselves as an angel of light? Yep, that's right. So now you can find a little bit of information on this enzyme being used in the concoction, but for the most part, you will find a bunch of fact checking. False, 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 fact check, fact check, fact checked. So you kind of have to dig a little bit and get into the reports to see it. But what's interesting, even so, about this word is that you have the name of the angel who disguises himself as an angel of light. And the second half of the word is R-A-S-E. So L-U-C-I-F-E-R-A-S-E. So that's race. Almost like race, like a race of people. And what kind of freaks me out about that is that Netflix has two shows about hybrids out now. One's a dating show and the other one is babies. And what's odd about this is, well, they like to give us things to get us used to things, and they ease us into things. So not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying it is fishy. So Netflix, besides having the hybrid dating show of these hybrid animal people, they have a show about hybrid babies being born from a cure to a pandemic. And these babies were born out of the cure from this. And this show was actually filmed in the summer or fall of 2019, right before all this hit. Very odd, right? Just like they were running practice drills at the event that was coming up when that happened, and they were running practice drills in a train tunnel that happened overseas in London when that happened, and when there were some things going off at a marathon on the East Coast, they were running drills, and they ran a drill about a flu from kinda let's just say that. And there were two guys who were part of that drill working in Arizona who had put out some videos saying we were running drills on this exact thing right when this happened. I don't know if their videos are still up or got taken down, but that was going on. So there you go. We have that. So, odd, huh? Okay, so that's freaky. Because, I mean, this concoction changes our genes. And there is actually video of Billy G on BitChute. You won't find it here on YouTube because YouTube censors everything. So, again, like I couldn't even say the V word because you'll get a strike and your channel will get taken down. Lots of our favorite channels have already been shut down for talking out. So they're censoring big time on YouTube and on Facebook. They will just clear your post. If your post does not align with their agenda and the narrative that they have to disclose to you, then they don't want it, and they are censoring. So you only have basically word of mouth, trying to use code words. Your email, text messages, social media, can't use it. They're censoring so bad. So anyway, there is a video out there of Billy G talking about these mRNA concoctions. I almost said it. And talking about how they change your genes. I've watched it. So it's out there if you go search for it. Absolutely is out there. But if you Google that again, you will find nothing but fact check till the cows come home. It's just ridiculous. So we don't know what's going to happen to anyone who took this and how their genes are going to be affected. You know, maybe they will have half human, half animal babies. Oh, I don't know. We had those in the past. The Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun, right? The fallen angels came down here and messed with animals. We had satyrs and centaurs and all kinds of mythological creature. The Bible even mentions satyrs and sirens. So these things weren't myth. They were real. And they were the product of genetic manipulation, which could possibly be going on right now. We don't know. So we don't know how these things are going to change us. So anyway, I mean, that's another reason not to take this concoction. We don't know what it's going to do. There's never been a concoction like this before, ever. This is brand new. We have never had one like this before, they said. And then they're like, oh, Operation Warp. You know, full speed ahead. And they whipped this thing out super fast. They said they had the formula for it in like 48 hours, which I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it seems to me like there's no way unless they were already prepared and already had it a long time ago, ready to go. And what is it, you know? There's no way. Why are they rushing all this stuff? And then you know, now they're telling us it's approved by the FDA, who's approved a lot of bad stuff and had a whole lot of lawsuits in the past. And these approvals, which I tried to Google it today, I went through probably page 14 and I was filled with how the 19 concoction has been through the rigorous testing. You can barely even search to find out how long it normally standard time takes for one of these to be approved, which is, from what I can guess, about 15 years. And it's been out here for about 8 months. 8 months! And we don't even know the full effects. We don't know the long-term effects, and we only know some of the short-term effects. And some of those are, people are getting herpes. People are getting heart inflammation. People are dying. Like dying. I don't know. Did you hear me? They died. People are dying. Mothers, you know, from everything I read, I was reading that mothers were not to take this because it was going to work against the placenta or rip the placenta out. And next thing I know, I'm on Facebook and I'm seeing all these posts fact checked saying it is good for mothers. And I'm like, no, it's not. Nothing I read ever said this was good for mothers. But of course, I don't get my news off of CNN or NBC or any Fox News or any of the other places that lie to us. Okay. Oh boy, this really hurts my heart because after that, I was seeing mothers who took it and they miscarried at 3 months. And then they were still in support of the concoction, even after a miscarriage. And, you know, there's people who are responsible for telling these mothers to take this. And I don't know. It breaks my heart. I don't even know what to say. Everybody just, remember that saying when you were little, when your mom would say, oh, if everybody went and jumped off a bridge, you're going to go jump off too? That's like what's happening right now. But they've made people they've instilled this fear into people so bad. And there's nothing even to be afraid of. It's crazy. I'm getting off track. So let me go back to my notes here so I don't miss anything. So the next common sense thing here, especially if you're a follower of the Lord, is there are aborted fetal cells in these concoctions. So that makes them dirty to us. We're not to put that stuff in our body. And I seen a package on one that said it also had chimpanzee cells in it. Oh, well, maybe this is where we're going to get hybrids from. I don't know, but this is nasty. This is nasty stuff we don't want to be putting in our bodies. I don't want aborted babies and chimpanzees in my body. That I seen some of the side effect paperwork that somebody was reading off of their sheet. And in it was talking about what to do if the test subject experienced side effects. So right in the paperwork, they were calling the person who took the concoction a test subject. Because you are. Like what kind of trials do we have on this? Like a week? So you are the test subject. You are the long-term test subject. You're a guinea pig. Why would you want to be a guinea pig for anything? I mean, this is just common sense stuff. Total common sense stuff. Like, to think. Does anybody think anymore? Like, I know they gave us fluoride in school, but I didn't drink mine. Like, people. I just don't understand. Okay. Now, it wasn't even. It wasn't even approved until now, and we just talked about that, how this has been like pushed through super, super fast. So even though it is right now, it was done in 8 months, not 15 years. Like, I don't even know what else to say about that to you. That's nutty. That's nutty to even think, oh, it's approved now, let's go. Why? It's 8 months compared to 15 years. Crazy, crazy. Okay. All right. And we talked about how you can't even find anything on the internet you want to look for till you get past like page 10. And sometimes it's even still there on page 10. I got to keep going. It's crazy how much they have scrubbed from the internet. And people have said they've been scrubbing Wikipedia too. So it's going to be really hard to find information unless you have old encyclopedias anymore. And the next common sense thing to ask yourself is, why are they bribing people? Why are they bribing people to get this with lap dances, beer, money, groceries, plane tickets? Like, why? Have you ever seen someone so desperate to concoction somebody up? And people are lining up. They're like, oh, free beer. And they're in line at the bar. Oh, free lap dances. And they're in line for the lap dances. Oh, a lottery, money. A lot of this is sin, right? I mean, not groceries, but still people need to eat and they need to live. And they'll line up for food, especially when, they've been oppressed. So the latest numbers that I have on a chart from August 13th show a 99.94% survival rate globally. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. 99.94% survival rate. There were 97.39% of all the people in the whole world that did not even have a case. There are only 2.61% of people globally that even have a case, and 0.006% that actually passed away from the virus. So why, with a survival rate of 99.94%, do we have to be going, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end? I feel like Chicken Little running around. The sky is falling. Hurry up. Get it. Do it. And listen, it's all the elites telling you to do it. You know, it's the rich ones and it's the actors, it's the occultists, it's your leaders. You know, since when has a government ever gave you anything good? They're going to do something good for you. Here you go. Yeah, they don't care about you. Come on, people. Come on, man. No. No. This makes no sense whatsoever. Think, come on, common sense. Let's just not get on the fear bandwagon. And conspiracy wise, let's just talk about who knows what's going to happen to the ones who did take this. There's rumors of shedding, which is kind of freaky because what sheds? Snakes shed. They shed their skin. Now we're talking about the serpent. Okay, now we're talking about the enemy. And this shedding happens from the ones who took the concoction. And it sheds off of them, and then other people breathe it in, and then they get sick. And there's an old video of a doctor boarding a plane talking to the governor of Minnesota, I believe, Mr. Ventura, saying that she was getting out of here because they were going to unleash something that starts with a V and ends with an S. And everyone would get it because of the cure. And I think it was like in 2009 or something. She's like, they're going to release this scam and this sickness, and everybody is going to get it from the cure. They're going to be breathing it in. She's talking about this, and she was boarding a plane. She said she was getting out of here. So again, that was like 2009. So that was, like 12 years ago. That was a long time ago. But she gave warning about this. The only one really like spreading all of this fear is the media. So if you're not watching TV, you're not all wrapped up in it. And they lie to us anyway. I mean, look at their logos. One of them is the all-seeing eye. The other one is a peacock. Well, who's associated with a peacock? Hera, the goddess worship. Who do you think's out there on the Statue of Liberty? Right? It's not Lady Liberty. It's the goddess. I guess it is Lady Liberty, who is the goddess. Okay, so we also have, I recently seen a clip of a video of Billy G out there talking about how there's too many people in the world and we need to depopulate. And one of the ways that we can do this, and he ran through some of the ways, and he said concoctions. He did. So later he gave some kind of a weird excuse for why he said that, but he said it. And it's written on the Georgia Guidestones, which are totally creepy, and who knows who made those. And, right, we got the hybrid TV shows, we got the Lucifer and the race. We've got a deception coming. We all know a deception is coming. The Bible tells us a deception is coming. I've had lots of dreams about a deception coming, as well as the enemy telling me not to talk about this stuff. But with this deception that's coming, well, what if all these people disappeared in a false rapture? We don't know. What if they're all microchipped with something? We know they want to do microchips that automatically leak out at their given time. They're already getting those ready for infants. The people who recently took the concoction had magnets sticking to their arms, and they put a light up to where they got it, and it would glow in the dark as well, which the luminescence is Lucifer rays. Okay? It glows in the dark. It produces a glow light. It produces light, right? Like fireflies. So that's happening. And that's a fact. There's tons of videos of people showing them glowing and magnets sticking to them. We know that it changes your genes no matter how much they lie to you. We talked about Billy G saying that they do. The video is searchable. You can find it. If common sense wise, let's just think about something. If you have a sickness going around and you don't have a cure for it, which this concoction is not, it just lessens symptoms, so you're less likely to end up in the hospital. So then you take it and now it's suppressing it, so the symptoms are less. What is the sickness probably going to do? It's probably going to mutate stronger to overcome the concoction that you took so that it can invade the body. So that would mean that the concoctioned people are creating worse mutations, not the non-concoctioned people. So they're running around saying, it's all the unconcoctioned, it's all you, just do it, when it's them. They are the ones. So also too, what if it is affecting your prefrontal cortex, okay, which is also called your crown, which is what CORONA means, crown, okay, which is where we have our ability to worship. So some people think it's going to affect our ability to worship God, that they're trying to stop that. What if it makes it easier to worship the beast? It affects your thinking and your character, which a lot of people are claiming that it's doing. They're saying they are seeing changes in the characters of their coworkers and loved ones, that they don't have the ability to love and show affection the way that they used to, and they're being mean, they're being spiteful. Some of them are crying and saying that they really love their grandchildren and their children are their husbands, but something's stopping them from being nice. They just can't love on them, and they don't know why they're acting this way. And a lot of these families are really being shaken up by this. There are some big character changes happening. You can go out to Facebook and actually search that. If you're in any of the groups, you'll see a lot of people commenting and telling their stories, which is really, really scary. And what if it hooks up, to these somehow, which is what my spirit was telling me last spring. Before I even read anybody else say it, I was kind of feeling that in my spirit. And maybe it hooks up with it some way in a false rapture type deal, or maybe mind control, maybe even by music worship. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because music is part of worship, and we see a lot of talk about bands and chords and keys and harps and minstrels and angels coming when you play music. And we know that music opens doorways, even for the occult. That's how they were, moving the Easter Island stones. They were saying the priests used something called manna to move them. Vibrations were picking up and moving things in the air. They're playing music in some of the dances to invoke spirits into them, put you in beta states and let spirits inhabit your body, to open portals and doorways when they had their gods coming through. So this is documented and a well-known fact. And so when we think about worshiping the beast, some of that is going to involve music. And they want a one world government like the Tower of Babel. And God didn't let it fly last time. And if you think he's going to let it fly this time, you're nuts. He's not going to stand for it. And it's not going to happen. I just watched the new Bill and Ted movie. And in that movie, which was really freaky, they united the entire world with a song. And they did it by giving everybody a cell phone so they could hear the song. And right now they are out there trying to give everyone a new cell phone right now. You go to any of the major phone companies and they're just like, oh, turn your phone in, get a free phone. So they want everyone to have these headphones. So I just found that creepy. You know, all of this is very fishy, and it stinks. It stinks. Just stinks. You know, despite all of the conspiracy, the common sense of no long-term studies and the bribery, everything says just to steer clear of this. Steer clear. I mean, if you're on the fence about whether you want to do this or not, I hope that you heard me out and listened to what I had to say and thought about these things. So, it's scary because we have verses in the Bible that tell us we're to not be afraid. We're to put our trust in the Lord. The Lord is our healer. We're not to make friends with the world. Anyone who is a friend of the world is an enemy of God. Our trust is to be in Him and in Him alone, and He's our protector. He will not let, Psalms, I think maybe it's 119 that says the plague won't touch us, the arrows won't touch us. He'll encompass us round about as a shield. He'll keep us under His wing. And what's scary is that we as the church are His bride, and He is our bridegroom. Christ is a bridegroom. And we have the verses that say that the voice of a bridegroom or a bride will not be hurting you anymore because of the sorcery. And that the word sorcery, if you look in the Strong's, is pharmakia, and pharmakia is where we get our word pharmacy, medicine. And when you start thinking about these concoctions, which is from medicine and the medical teams, and how it's possible that they could do something to us to not let the voice of our bridegroom be heard in us anymore, that we wouldn't be able to hear Him. And that could be something that they're trying to do with all these towers too. We are just up to 2G, 3G, 4G. I read somebody say they're trying to jam the frequencies so that we can't hear God when we pray. And this very well may be true. And if you think about that, and then you think about these concoctions and something mixing together, and we think about that verse I just talked about, how the voice of the bridegroom won't be heard in you anymore. Because of the sorcery, because of the pharmakia, because of the medicine, whatever it is they're doing. I don't know. Is it the mark? No, because we're not at that point in time yet. There's still a lot of things that have to happen. The Antichrist isn't on the scene. And anyway, it says that you're made to worship, and if you don't worship, then you're killed. And then it says everyone gets the mark. So somehow there's a remnant still here. But it's a trial run. That's what it seems like. Don't mess up. And if you did mess up, don't mess up the second time, because you may not get another test before the final exam. I know they're making it hard. They're making it really hard about going in and out of public places, and who cares? We don't need any of that. We can grow food. We can commune with each other. We can share with one another. We can barter with one another. We can order online for as long as they let us do that. And as far as our jobs, Yahweh will help protect us, and He's our provider. When I was praying, I heard in my spirit, He said, you know what? When famine hit the land, the enemy took care of my people. I sent them right into Egypt throughout the famine, like 3 times, maybe more. 3 that I'm recalling off the top of my head right now. And the enemy fed His people, And then when he brought them into the wilderness, he said, I kept my people for 40 years. I fed them manna from heaven. Their clothes did not wear, their shoes did not wear. I provided for them. What, you think my hands wax short? Our Father's hand is not wax short. It's not wax short. And he said to pray. You know, Jesus said to watch and pray that we could escape. So, pray. Pray that he veils us, veils his bride when it comes to it, and you escape the things that are going to come upon the earth under his protection. So anyway, I got sidetracked. I'm going to get back to it. Just please, if you're on the fence, again, don't. Just don't. I wouldn't. Just don't. To think about even our babies that are going to be born and the generations after that. This could not affect you, but it could affect your children. It could affect your grandchildren, because once we edit something in the gene pool, it doesn't go away, right? It stays for future generations. And just because something doesn't happen to you instantly doesn't mean it won't in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Doesn't mean when any of these people who have had children after having this, doesn't mean it's not going to affect that generation being born or even the generation after that. We have no idea. We've never done this before. This is scary as heck. Scary as heck. All right. Be sober. Be vigilant. God bless.